far away. Come on, let's try. Hatred is a forgotten age to let the rod stay in the cage. You gone a long time ago. Where you stand, nobody knows. Nobody knows. Don't go holding on to something. It's just untrue. Left by myself, what would I do? Hatred is a forgotten age to let the rod stay in the cage. You gone alone. I'll take all of you, render unto me the gifts that you bring. Come and make me shrink. Leave the world behind, the bubble that you made. Lift the veil, no jive. Show me what's inside my life. Nothing you can say. My life, breathing is the way. No death, nothing goes away.
I was a pretty happy kid in Australia. When I was about 7, I had my first mystical experience, I guess you could say.
Well, I was in the front room and I was playing with my little trucks, and all of a sudden I felt this presence of love. I don't know how else to describe it. It was like an experience of radiance. I'm having the experience now as we talk about it. I felt like a presence just entered into my proximity, into my consciousness. Hi, kitty. Just like this. It was like a loving presence just cracked open the universe, cracked open my head or something, and just poured in. And I felt like I was just surrounded by light or something for a little while. And it was an emanating presence of beneficence. It was awe-inspiring. That was the experience. Yeah.
The sweetest thing that I'm ever gonna see, it won't be with my eyes. The finest thing that a heart could ever feel cannot be trapped inside.
It became a touchstone in my consciousness from that point, as things like that would be. They become an important part of who you are and how you function, because there's that memory. that's been inserted to you of the possibility or the existence of a beneficent, loving presence. As I grew up, I was a little bit of a loss at how to be in the world, or how to find myself, or how to become whoever it is I was, because of the memory of these loving moments that felt like it was home, or felt like it was real, or felt like that's what reality was, you know. I didn't really understand the world on its terms very well because of those kinds of experiences.
And I remember having a fairly mystical time of it as I think I was about 22 years old, where everything in my life that I tried to force, where a lot of people do try to force things, ended up giving me night sweats, and I would wake up in the middle of the night sweating and horrified, scared and alone, you know.
I know you're guilty, so you can damn. You link the past to the present day.
And right around that time, I started this really interesting awakening process with the divestment of a lot of the things that I was trying to force myself into being, you know.
Jobs, girlfriends, house, pets, bands, transport, all just sort of fell apart in the space of about a month. It's just like a cosmic tumbler had fallen into place. Boom. Change.
I remember having this kind of abstract experience of having like an energy come to me or something and ask the question, is it time, you know? And I just had nothing left to lose, I guess, you know. As an Aussie, I was ready to go bush. So my mum called me on the phone and said that she was in the presence of a teacher that had given her the experience of wholeness that she'd been looking for her whole life, because her and I had been on this kind of journey together. And I was drawn kind of miraculously to end up where she was to meet this teacher, and this teacher was the master teacher of A Course in Miracles. And at that time I had some extremely profound experiences of what I'd call awakening, or the universe, or love. Excuse me.
Maybe you can see the brighter light. Reach me, teach me from the other side. In from out of time is your only right. You're only right when you're out of sight.
It seemed to me that it was like, now is the time to do this. And at that point I made a dedication to accept universal consciousness into my mind. And that was a real kind of, it was a conscious decision to say, okay, now I'm going to be this. I'm going to be a teacher, or be a learner, or be whatever it is that awakening is.
Forgive me, I'ma teach to you. It's the only thing left. that's not really in any regard. Having fun healing ideas that are gone. When you make visible what is not true, then what is true became invisible to you. Throw your hands up and open wide. You can't hide.
I started to experience myself as a catalyst and a catalytic converter of thoughts into light.
Looking through your new eyes.
Another song that was written early on was called Looking Through Your New Eye, because that was what was happening to my brain physically. I was physically starting to see through a different part of my brain. You know, try that one on. How do you describe something like that? I use my third eye to see through you. But that's obviously, you know, the awakening experience, isn't it? Everyone starts to say, well, my third eye opened, or my crown chakra, or my chakras opened up, or something like that. Well, that's what happened. There it is.
Looking through your new eyes. A secret yet perfectly told. A story that's so ancient it's new. Illuminates you forever being. I feel it, it's hard. I feel it, it's mine. The light is the light of reason. How brilliant it shines. I'm saying things that I've always said. The difference is I'm hearing. Giving away the need for death. Can't you see me turning?
I love to make music, and this creative release was another one of the things that had really affected me on a communicative level. The first time I jumped on stage as a young kid with my really bad garage band, I had an instant where I felt like, the whole world stopped and everything just leapt out of its staticness and became alive, and that was very exciting to me, and it felt like it was really the only thing that was worthy of my dedication.
And at this one moment with this music, and we're singing and we're playing this whole thing, and all of us came together. And I remember the room came together and everything came together, and it literally, and I remember the feeling of it literally coming up like this and going out like that. And I thought, this is why people play music. I went, that's why you do that.
And it comes together in a magical kind of moment where you all feel it and go, oh wow, you know, that was great, you know, and it just happens spontaneously. In those moments that are completely unrehearsed, without any music, it comes together magically. It's like finding the lost chord, you know.
And then I was like, oh, you know, it was just, now I don't think I can pick it apart. I don't know what happened. I was not necessarily confident with what I was playing because we hadn't practiced it very much, you know, so I don't really know. In other words, it was a true miracle because I have no idea how it came about. I can't replicate it. I can't make it happen again. I'm actually writing a song right now, and it's like this. It's like I'm listening to it and I'm trying to learn it. You know what I mean? It's like you can't, you know what I mean? It's like you can't quite hear it, but it's in the background, and I know that I'm writing it. I know that it's, you know, part of it is for me, but a big part of it, and this is with the best songs that I've ever written, they're always written already, and I'm learning them, you know?
Like, I've tried to write songs in the past. I've gone, oh, I've got a good idea. I'm going to write a song about it. And I've tried, and it has never, ever, ever, ever worked. I have never written one of my songs. Every song that I have written that has come through me has been something that has come through me. So it's so clear to me that it's from a source beyond this thing, this self-concept.
I've written a lot of songs, and most of them I don't even like, you know. And I'm too embarrassed to sing them. But I do have them on my iPod, and I listen to my iPod at night, often when I can't sleep, and I have it on random play, and I have a mixture of, you know, the old man and everything else you can imagine, plus music. And every so often one of my songs will come on, like it did last night, and it really became clear to me that I wrote those songs for myself, to remind myself of why I came here and my purpose of awakening. And they're like a trigger, they're like a memory that I actually inserted in the dream myself to play back to me, to just remind me of who I am. It's the memory of love, the memory of light, the memory of joining, healing. It's all in there. It's all just in part of the music. It's all just included in without any doctrine. And it's just an energy of communication and joining that transcends everything.
The song Abstract Ideas, I wanted to bring the song all the way through itself and bring it back to the present moment, and the lyrics are about singing the song. The song is about the song itself, and the lyrics are about including the moment of singing the song and that moment of inspiration where you realize that this moment is happening to you, and at that moment there's this instant of communication that occurs, that starts to expand and communicate. And I wanted to actually write a song that had those lyrics in it, that said what was actually happening to me while I was singing the song. So it's kind of a collapse. The song is a collapse in on itself entirely.
Because when the song expressed a new movement in the words, the song actually moved up to another whole tone or another half tone, or at least another key. And when it changed, when the tonality changed and became juxtapositioned, so did the chords. So the chords changed according to the lyrics, and the whole tonality of the song changed according to the attitude that was being expressed in the moment.
What?
It went all the way through every key. Every single key, and came back and back to the same pattern and back to the same chord and started that. It came back to the same place, but when it came back to the same place, it was entirely different.
There's an idea in here that I can't quite express. It's about seeing. It's an abstract idea that makes no sense unless you are it. What's funny about abstract ideas is you make them live with your mind. I wanna open up a hole and suck everyone in. Does everyone feel that way? Do you feel that way? Now this song is happening to me. I don't know where it's going. Do you wanna dance? Now we're in a new space and time together. It's leading me.
I had to learn to go within myself and hear something different, or at least hear that there were notes that wanted to be expressed that were not on the page, and that those are coming from within my own self or my own mind.
As we go on, I'm hearing harmonies from
Your desire to give expression to those notes and to the inspiration that's behind that. I suppose it's like composing on the spot, where you're having to improvise over a melody or over chord changes. Suddenly you have to let go of, first of all, what you think should happen or how you want it to sound, and you just let it be what it is, and the melody comes through you miraculously. I may hit wrong notes, and if I do, I hope that's okay. You have to give an expression, let the expression come through you, and if you hit a wrong note, you hit a wrong note. Play it as loud as possible, so it'll be a right note.
Well, for me personally, when I'm in the middle of a chorus or supporting somebody else's chorus or just joining with the band, the real joy of joining comes in being there.
now I feel like not trying to be something else. Don't cover this.
It's not in trying to join. It's not like, oh boy, I accomplished joining.
Right.
It doesn't have anything to do with that. It's way beyond that.
Right.
And you know when you're there. You know when you're there. But it's not an analyzation. It's just being right there.
Just keep coming.
That's what's so great about music, because music is a vehicle that's always there and it can be used. It's not something that's made up by someone. It's always there, and it's just coming up to the frequency of joining, which is already happening anyway.
Getting together with a bunch of guys with instruments that are made of wood and steel and just these weird combinations that have been passed down to us. I've had experiences of being with guys and having something in me play through me, where I was completely out of the way and I was played. I've had experiences of myself in the universe free that, again, it's sort of that experience of I want to get right back in there. And just like you were saying earlier, it's not that the form of the music really has any reality, but the getting together with people of like minds, I got out of my own way for a moment, and which to me is very representative of the awakening experiences.
Stood and cracked in two.
It was like I couldn't play a wrong note.
Now's the time to find you, wake up to all the love you thought you'd lost. Today is the only reason to give you what you thought was cost.
Love, and I'm so looking forward to being able to actually communicate when I'm singing, and being able to actually communicate when I'm performing, and just, it's not even being able to do something, it's coming to the awareness of what's already occurring. Yeah, I'm so in love with the creative process and the service that it has offered me, and the service that I am able to offer others, it seems, through it. That's absolutely astounding to me and truly miraculous.
I fell into you, struck me in the heart. Now's the time to find you.
I had an experience the very first time I walked out on stage that the more I could be in the now and the more I could be vulnerable, if I wasn't acting and if I made it in the now, then I would affect people. As soon as I figured that out, I knew I gotcha. And I knew that communication had occurred. I could suck people in if I got more and more into the craft, more and more in the now of the character, physically, emotionally, letting every sentence be exactly the first time. You can feel that when you have an audience right in the palm of your hand. They love you, you love them, you love the universe, they love the universe. That's communication, and that's art.
That's not my tip, baby. I know I'm not crazy. No, no, don't mean maybe. That's not my tip, baby. You might think there is a world. You might think there's nothing happening. Fill yourself with meaningless nonsense. Kill yourself 'cause you're bored of napping. That's not my tip, baby. I know I'm not crazy. No, no, don't mean maybe. That's not my tip, baby. You might dream trapped in your own mind. Thoughts are running around and around your time. Wondering if there is a loving God. Thinking that you're not only mine.
It may not seem evident from the films and the songs, but this band had never really gotten together to rehearse it all. So anyone who entered into the process that this night was designed to become had to be willing to accept the moment as it came to them and still be present and still extend their craft. So they were all really aware that it's not really music that we're undergoing, it's an alacrity of acceptance and an alacrity of, you know, forgiving. There's a lot of forgiving that goes on, you know, and a lot of the loss of the identity of what it is you believe your role is, because if you retain those ideas, you're really not able to listen to the song and add to it in the moment. And as these minds all get together and enter into that moment, what's presented is light and love and that attractive communication that occurs when you're actually viewing a reflection of the artists experiencing their own reflection and letting it go, and that harmony that you create is communicative in a quantum sense. It was really kind of a miraculous calling that I put out, and it's a miracle that we succeeded in getting anything to tape, you know. And it's just a real lot of fun, and I feel indebted and grateful to all those involved in the concert.
You're always in the present and the extension of the idea of a sense of communication that isn't necessarily verbizable. There's a word. Yeah. There's really no limit to what you can say with just a single hit or a hand clap. Like it all really comes down to, where am I right now? The idea of communicating through a limited framework is impossible. You know, when you look at that idea realistically, you're like, well, how is that possible to communicate something bigger than what is within a limited framework? Yet, all artists, you know, have that experience somewhere. That, you know, that's the beauty of it is the idea that it is impossible. You know, it's certain because it is impossible, and it communicates because it doesn't make sense. You know. I think that's funny. But with the drums, like, you can't play them uncertainly. Like you just don't get away going, well, I think it's like this. It never communicates.
what you remember was never true. And break me down, fall from me. Graceless in flight without beauty, language that's harsh. Why do you fight all your progress? I'm not that hard. Particle does not become a wave.
Just recently I have been invited to teach, and I realize how much I love teaching. I don't consider myself a performer by any means, but I more so than anything, especially with classical music, giving kids an opportunity to come back to like the whole purpose for why they want to play. I mean, there's some spark in them that makes them want to come together and want to make music, makes them want to pick up the instrument, the bow and the violin. I think my only purpose there is just to continue to bring them back to that point of, inspiration, the point of excitement and joy that they express themselves through the instrument. So teaching for me is by far the creative inspiration. There had to be 400 or 500 little kids in this big auditorium playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and it got me. Every time I speak of it and remember that moment, something occurred for me that blew my reference as a 6-year-old girl, and I begged and begged my mom to be able to play the violin because I wanted to continue that wow. Yeah, it was
And you know that it's the part of me that hands it round. Take it out and hand it round. Don't leave it out.
Everyone's aware of the power of music. You hear that term from time to time. The idea of communication, the speaking, it's a universal language. You try to speak to the center of the person. It comes from the center to the center and goes to the center. It leaves from the source to back to the source again. And so to me, it's an improvement over verbal communication in that being 80% nonverbal at its best. So the best I could possibly do with the most eloquent speech and all that would be 80% miscommunication or more. And so if somebody can really hear what I'm saying with playing a few notes on an instrument, that's pretty cool. So I can adjust, I can do something with their mind and maybe do some healing in there. So, yeah.
Love is like dancing. Love is like dancing. Come on, feel like dancing now. Come on, dance a while. Time for you, but I'm running out of time now. Lost my patience for machinations of mine. Got no reasons why, and there's nothing left to find now. So let's strike the set and take it home. So if you ain't got any time for me, don't take the time to tell me, 'cause I'm hanging on to my brain ring. Don't tell me now, just tell me now. Love is like dancing. Love is like dancing. Love is like dancing. Come on, feel like dancing now. Come on, dance a while.
Very special guest artist singing with us, rapping with us this evening. I want a big round of applause for John.
Wow, I'm a creative being. I come from a creative source, and so everything that comes from me should be creative. I should be in that flow. There's a playfulness, and this is something that in experiences that we've all had of being one with our creativity, with a creative source, in that there's no boundaries. It's like a composition that goes on and gets better and better, and more things join, and you can't believe how amazing it is. And you can't do that by yourself. You need to have it's a shared endeavor in a very basic sense.
I'd like to invite Mariella down to the front of the stage, please.
This ties in with our ideas of light and the ideas that we're expanding our base out of a self-focus into a shared idea, into a giving idea, you know. And to me, that's what light is. It's really any idea that has that takes me out of my own self-focus and brings me into a more shared focus.
Doesn't she make you want to dance? Come on, let's get up and dance. And now Monica.
And that's the power of what, in a sense, this documentary is about, is that you can really change the nature of the fabric of the moment that you're living in through a collective commitment to release the thoughts that you walked in with into the group and let it be a new moment, you know? And that can actually be taught, which is really surprising. You can actually teach that it's not what you think. Which was such a revolution to me, that you could teach it, because it's not that you could actually teach what the moment is that you can teach what the moment isn't. And the moment will be self-evident simultaneously in its revealed creativity, with the acknowledgement that you can't prevent the moment from being itself while you're teaching that the moment isn't what you think it is. Forgive me. Anyway, that was the revolution of the master teacher.
when I first met him, that's what I realized he was doing. And, you know, my brain exploded.
I'd like to say thank you over here to Ray. I'd like to thank Barbara.
Now, love is a celebration. So that's what I'm celebrating and extending through photography. And all kinds of things come my way. And I kind of have this ability to acquiesce to the moment and then even to elevate the moment into something that's way more than what seems to be. I'm going in there and I'm capturing moments in time of love, holy moments of communication, and I'm often in an observation mode, but the observation is whole. It's so cool because I'm included in it. Like here I am looking at this eye of a camera, but this is my eye. It's awesome. I'm just waiting. I'm patiently waiting. And moments just come together and time collapses and I happen to click my shutter. And a lot of time I don't even have control over it. It's occurring and it becomes just an automatic response to the moment. I can anticipate the moment and all of a sudden it's like bam. Thing is a story. I don't know, there's a timeline thing to it where, you know, how they celebrate their union together with everyone that they love so dearly as a commitment to each other in love.
Love is like dancing. Come on, feel like dancing now. Love is like dancing. Love is like dancing. Come on, feel like dancing now. Thank you for coming, and I love you too. Thank you.
Wow. So, thank you. Amazing and very exciting, and gratitude to, gratitude to the universe. And I love you. I love you. And thank you for being a continued part of the larger plan for the atonement and the greater awakening and my greater awakening.
It's in the now. It's all happening in the now. Yes, master.
I was brought up as a child.
As a child, as a young man.
I grew up a poor black child.
Wow, you.
Yeah.
Doom, 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 doom. Run.
Testes.
Like
One,
testes,
two,
1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I know. That was very good. No, that was
Testicles. 1, 2, 3.
Get out of here. And we're done.
The advisor band.
You didn't push stop?
Yes.
Call you me fair, that fair again unsay. Demetrius loves your fair. Oh, happy fair.
Unspeakable.
I was kind of shy. I think part of it was that maybe if I could play guitar, I could get girls. It actually worked out.
It
after
works
a while.
really good.
Yeah, it worked out.
Kyle jumping in the bed. He saw us and he got a wobbly leg.
You got a wobbly leg?
Yeah.
I know. How's your leg?
My mom called the doctor and the doctor said, no more Kyle jumping in the bed.
Is that trite? But it's
No,
true.
that's too true for me to enjoy. That's why I roll my eyes.
I know.
Okay. Carrie, 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 that is Carrie, Carrie, Carrie.
Nice. I like
You
it.
know,
Or something like that.
That's not what I said.
Say what? Oh, that's total crap. What the hell is he talking about? You know, that guy's yeah. That guy's crazy. He looks like Chuck Norris though. Oh my God, that was the best show.
Wow, wow.
Thank you. We have to go off stage. We have to go off stage now. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm going to sing us a song on the way out. Thank you for watching my documentary. Thank you. These words I don't have many. Thank you. Please don't go away. Thank you. Watch it when I finished it today. That rhymed, but it wasn't correct. Okay, thanks. Thank you.